Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Take It to the Hizzy Fantasy Basketball, TITTH number 139. I'm your host, Justin Bruni. I got Stephen Hammond with me tonight. How are we doing, Steve? Happy hump day.
What's going on? How are you?
Hey, pretty good. Can't complain. Been making some money here at the sports books recently, but other than that, not too bad. How about you?
Yeah.
How's your week going?
It's going good. Hey, we're getting closer to Friday, thank the Lord. And we got a good show tonight.
Yeah, I'm about ready for this week actually to end. I guess I should mention, with all the good luck, there's been a little bit of run of the bad. Had my car battery die on me yesterday at a gas station, so I just hung out outside the 7-Eleven while I waited for a tow for an hour. It was great. Ooh. And my phone was on 2%, so it was a lot of internal thoughts. There was a lot of thinking going on. I was like, man, if only I could just tweet everything I'm thinking right now. But what would be the point? Then I would just be on Twitter. Oh well. But let's get into it a little bit. How's your fantasy playoffs going? I think you and Blake both had your runs come to an end. Is that right?
Yeah, I took an L last week. I mean, when Kevin Porter goes off for 50 points in just a random game versus the Bucks of all teams, that's going to do you in. Yeah, it was a close game back and forth for the first couple days, and then Thursday busted wide open. I got killed.
That's tough.
But
yeah, I mean,
for the
obviously.
Third seed.
Oh, fighting for the third seed. You're going to take care of business for that
yeah.
For that Yahoo rating
trophy.
I gotcha. Well, despite me and Steve being out of it, Steve actually took me out of the playoffs in the first round. We're still going to be jumping into some fantasy waiver wire talk here in a little bit after we get through the game previews. So let's jump into the Monkey Knife Fight props. Let's clock in, start talking some numbers. A lot of good matchups tonight and a lot of opportunities to make a couple of bucks. We got our best bets on the bottom line. We'll get to those as we get into the game previews, but let's jump into the Monkey Knife Fight props. What's the first one we got up, Steve?
First one we got Bogdanovich for the Jazz, over 22.5, over under 22.5 points, with DeMar DeRozan over under 20.5 points.
I'm going to go over for both. Give me Veliki Baller Bogdan, big baller Bogdan brand. I feel like with Mitchell out, there's plenty of opportunity. There's a little bit more minutes to go around for Bojan. So give me the over for Bojan. And, the Spurs have actually been playing pretty well lately. And I think that there will be a good high scoring game here. So give me DeRozan over the 20.5 as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Bogdanovich can definitely go over 22.5. I'm questioning DeMar DeRozan. Just hitting that 21. I like him just under that. They've been getting some points in there from Johnson a lot. That's Keldon Johnson, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I picked him up in my losing efforts last week, but he's been contributing a lot. So I'm going to go over for Bogdanovich and under for DeRozan.
All right, fair enough. The next one we have up is Devin Booker and Trae Young. We got Devin Booker at 28.5 points and Trae Young at 23.5. I will go. I really like the Suns in this one. They're one of my best bets for tonight. But I'm still going to go under for Devin Booker, but I'm going to go over for Trae Young. What do you think?
Okay, yeah, that Devin Booker, that's a tall number. I really, really like that Trae Young over 23.5. I kind of question if Booker can hit. I mean, he'd have to be looking really at like a 30-plus point game there. I'll ride both over, though. You know what?
Okay.
Booker, Hawks defense is spotty, so I'll ride with Booker over.
Hey, I like the over in that game in general, so that's a good trend to follow. Trae Young, I also took today over 32.5 total points and total points and assists. I was about to say rebounds, points and assists. So I'm feeling really good about that. He's actually been scoring a lot recently since he came back from injury, and I believe in both his previous games he has 30-point performances. So looking forward to hopefully cashing that prop tonight. What's the next one we have up?
We got Karl Anthony Towns facing Memphis, over 25.5 points, over under 25.5 points, and Dylan Brooks. over under 20.5 for Dylan Brooks. What do you think?
Well, I really love Dylan Brooks tonight. I also grabbed a prop on him this evening over 19.5 points. So absolutely give me the extra point there. I'll take over the 20.5. And Karl Anthony Towns, I don't think we can't not take the over here. For some odd reason, the Timberwolves are just scoring in bunches, whatever. And Karl Anthony Towns is, I don't know, trying to win some more games, trying to not get a top pick in the draft. These guys have been, putting up numbers in huge bunches. So yeah, give me the over on both. Karl Anthony Towns is absolutely on fire right now. I think people were, wanting this type of performance to start the year when they, draft him in the first round in fantasy. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely one of those guys that you're looking in the early half of the first round. I'm going to ride with both overs too. I think Karl Anthony Towns too good of a player. I think he's going to go over that, score 26 or more. Dylan Brooks, he kind of a shock. I never thought he would amount to much when he came out of college, but he's really grinded, and I think 21 is all he needs. That's an easy number to hit.
Yeah, in fantasy, I would have liked him to fill out the box score a little bit more this year. He was a guy that I had a kind of a hard time dropping because he was always really consistent scoring, just didn't always fill out the stat sheet, rebounds or assists, consistently. There'd be nights where he'd go off, but really like him tonight. Hopefully he can hit over that 19.5 and the 20.5 for Monkey Knife Fight here. The next one we have up is Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bradley Beal. Slaughtered that a little bit there. We're looking at 32.5 points for Giannis and 28.5 for Beal. I actually took this one just before we got on the show, but Beal's number was actually cranked up to about 31.5, and I took the under on both. I know that you have Giannis in a triple-double tonight. I just went under just because they just went back-to-back, or they're Milwaukee's playing back-to-back. I'm sorry. They played the Nets yesterday, and they played those two back-to-back, and just a lot of work out of them. But you were talking about Middleton being out tonight, so I think there is some opportunity to hear. I took the under on both. Where are you at?
I'm actually going to go over on Giannis. I thought that there was, I think 40 points is definitely in the works for him today. Bradley Beal, I also really like that over. I was trying to pull up a tweet of who was starting tonight for the Wizards. It was a rough lineup. Got a lot of people out.
I'll pull it up here.
All right. Yeah, it was. So I'm taking the over on both of them, honestly. Bradley Beal puts a lot of points in bunches, and Giannis is one of my best bets. He has 2 triple-doubles this year versus the Wizards. So I think I'm expecting a big game. My only worry would be Giannis being pulled semi-early due to a blowout.
Sure. Yeah, you have, Westbrook at the 1, Raul Neto at the 2, Bradley Beal at the 3, yikes, Anthony Gill at the 4, and Alex Len at the 5. So, yeah, expecting a lot of Beal and Westbrook tonight. But I think it's just going to be a little bit tougher. They're putting PJ Tucker at the 3 to take on Bradley Beal. I don't know how that's going to work out. We'll see. That is a really
out of position.
Yeah, exactly. That is a tall order though with that lineup. So I'm still going to trend to the unders. Mostly just playing this on the back-to-back. With the Bucks, maybe Giannis does get a little bit more rest in a matchup where he may not be actually needed as much. The last one up that we have here is Nikola Jokic and Julius Randle, Nuggets versus the Knicks. Both players are at 25.5. We've got the MVP and the comeback player of the year here. I'm taking the over for both. Julius Randle, been nothing but on fire. Jokic has been money all year. I know that he is coming in as a game-time decision, but I saw him in warm-ups here pregame. I think he's going to be just fine. Give me the total, or give me the over for both.
Yeah. Julius Randle was another one of my best bets for tonight. I have him over 39.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I think 30 points could be in the works for Randle. He's been red hot just to really close out the year after the All-Star break. And the Nuggets have been really, really good since losing Jamal Murray. So I like over on both, honestly.
Yeah, and Will Barton, too. Monte Morris, I think, got hurt for a little bit there. I'm not sure if he's back yet. They're really thin, the Nuggets, but they've still looked just so good. We'll get into that here in the burning cues portion of this episode once we get through the fantasy waiver wire, but I'm looking forward to that. I mean, that team is hobbled, but they just keep getting it done. It's wild. All right, let's move on here. Let's jump into our game previews. But before we do, if you haven't already, please smash the like button, share the video, and follow us on youtube.com/take it to the Hizzy. Let's go. First game up here, we got the Boston Celtics and the Orlando Magic. I know this one's already started, but we're going to go through these with the opening lines. Celtics came in as big favorites, -800 on the money line, but there's a 12.5-point spread here. Do you think that the Magic can cover? And the total's at about 219. What do you like?
I think I got to go with the Celtics laying the points. It's a big number. With the Magic, a week or so ago, I was riding with the Magic. I had Mo Bamba on my team. But I think the Celtics have just been pretty good lately compared to where we saw them a few months ago. I really like them laying the points. And then on the over-under, I think I'm going to go with the under. Just a little bit too high of a number. Magic, will they do their part? So I'll ride with the under there.
I actually feel like the Orlando Magic can cover just because the Celtics have just been so hot and cold. They're going to be missing Jaylen Brown tonight. They actually just put it on the screen. Speak of the devil, 41-29 right now. So we're pretty close. What is that? 11, 12. That's right on the head. 12-point lead there for the Celtics. So we'll see what we can get. I think that the Magic, they're just playing really loose, just playing really laid back. Going to be scoring a lot, and I don't think Boston really sees them as a big threat. So I actually kind of like the over. I feel like we'll get a little bit more scoring here, but 41-29, it doesn't look good right now. We'll jump into that game again here once we get back to live betting at the end of the show. But obviously, I think we're both in agreement. So obviously, the Celtics are going to take home a win here. Next up, we've got the Portland Trailblazers and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Trailblazers also 12-point favorites on the road. -850 on the money line. There's no value there, obviously. But do we like the total at 226? What do you think?
Kind of a tall number.
Agree.
But I kind of lean the over there. Cavs, Sexton, that's all about he does is put up points.
Darius Garland as well.
Yeah, well, I think he's injured. I think he's out today.
Oh, is he?
Shit. Yeah.
He was on fire.
My bench. I can't win this third place game with him and Harrison Barnes on my bench. But
unreal. He cashed a prop for me last week, I believe. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, he actually passed, I don't know, a week or so. I guess longer than a week. It's been past 2 weeks. He had kind of came on. He was putting points up and scoring high 20s. So, yeah, I'm going to lean the over on that one. I don't really have a feel for the points laying anything. If I had to choose, probably I'd go Blazers maybe.
Yeah, Blazers on the points. I mean, you know me with these big spreads. I like to stay away, especially when the teams are, it's not like they're playing the Jazz. You know what I mean? It's still it's still the Trailblazers. Trailblazers are gonna score a lot, but I don't know if Cleveland will play their part. I would probably take the under and the points for the Blazers. But I think this game specifically is best to bet it live. Next up, we've got the Memphis Grizzlies coming in as road favorites, -3.5 on the road in Minnesota, -158 on the money line, which I do like, and an over-under of 237.5, which I don't love. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a tall number on the over-under. If we're talking the points, I think I'm laying Grizzlies -3.5. I've been on the wrong side of the Timberwolves all year, pretty much. I usually love to bet against them, and they somehow just cover, don't always win. I'm going to just ride with the under, under 237, just because it's such a high number. I think the odds are in your favor to go the other way.
Yeah, I feel like Minnesota's got to run colds at some point. Earlier today, I did put a nice little parlay together of my favorite tonight, the Suns and Memphis. I was hesitant to do it based on the recent success of the Timberwolves, but we're looking at a playoff team like the Memphis Grizzlies that are going to be kind of in that play-in mix-up. They're playing sharper basketball. They've typically been covering. So I'm going to go with them. I think they're still the best pick here. Give me the under 237 as well. I think Minnesota is going to have a hard time up against that stiff defense of the Memphis Grizzlies. So give me a Grizzlies win. I'm going to stay away from the points just because of that recent success of the Timberwolves. So just give me the money line. I feel like there's enough value there at the -158.
Definitely.
All right, next one up. My best pick for tonight, Phoenix Suns coming in as 1-point favorites on the road up against the Atlanta Hawks. Minus 107 on the money line. Hawks paying nearly even money at minus 113 on the money line, and an over-under of 228, which I absolutely love. You got any upside here for the Atlanta Hawks?
No, I'm the Suns all the way. Hey, I've said it before. I'm a sucker for the jerseys, so I'm taking the Suns here. I think you lay the point to get it at a plus number. Yeah, I'd be all over that. I think that's a great bet.
What do you think about the total 228? I think it's a little too low. I feel like this game should be like 230, 232.
Yeah, I think any game with the Hawks, honestly, I love the over. They don't play much defense, but Trae Young can put points up. And then when you add in the Suns, who Devin Booker, Chris Paul, I like the over as well.
Yeah, I love the over. I love just a money line play from the Suns here. Hawks cover the 1. Is it that close a game?
I don't think they can cover it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think you see the Suns win by a larger single digit. It won't be a double digit game, I don't think, but I think the Suns will win with ease.
All right. Well, also, I have the Trae Young prop over 32.5 points and assists. I'm feeling pretty good about that one as well. Despite the matchups, with Devin Booker and Chris Paul, I think he'll still get it done tonight. He's just been on fire these past couple of games. All right. Next up, we've got the 76ers traveling to Houston. 14.5-point favorites for the 76ers. Minus 1,300 on the money line, so don't bother. Over under of 221.5. Are we taking the over, and are we taking the points for the 76ers? 14.5 seems like a lot for the Rockets right now.
Yeah, Rockets have been playing better. I think you're getting Kevin Porter just going off. But I still almost like it. They are a bad team at the core. So I think I'm going to lay the points with the Sixers. They're just too good.
I don't know. I really want to stay away from this one. I feel like the bet here is the over, just because I feel like 76ers too. They're in the driver's seat of their conference now. We just saw the Nets take back-to-back losses. It might be like actually 3 in a row now. So they're in the driver's seat there. I feel like they may play a little bit more loose on the road. I'll take the over here, 221.5. I'm not going to mess with the points. Maybe take it live. You can get down a few numbers. Yeah. I just feel like the Rockets might like throw one in our face again. They put up 143 on who was it? The Bucks last week?
Yep. That was
143 points. I don't know if they've scored 100 points since then. So I'm just scared like they might turn it on a little bit, maybe keep it kind of a closer game, like 8-point game until, I don't know, midway through the fourth quarter or something like that. I just don't want to mess with it. Like I said, I don't love these big spreads. So I'll take the over 221.5. And obviously at minus 1,300, we're not getting any favors here from the sports books.
Yeah, no value.
All right. Yeah, exactly. Next up, we've got the Sacramento Kings coming in as road dogs, plus 200 on the money line, plus 6 points going to Indianapolis versus the Pacers. Over under is at 239.5. Another really big number, but the Kings, they don't like to play defense. What do you think?
No, and they're banged up as well. You're not going to see Halliburton for the rest of the year. Harrison Barnes out as well, who's a key part of their offense. I think Pacers is a smart pick there. I like them laying the points. I like throwing the minus 240 on the money line in a parlay. The over-under is intriguing, though, just because, like you said, Kings don't play defense, but that's a terribly tall number.
But who's going to score for the Kings tonight? That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, fair. I mean, I feel like this past week, though, just throughout the NBA, we've seen ridiculously high scoring games.
I just don't trust the Kings. I'm going to take the under, and I like parlaying that with the Pacers win. So give me the under and a Pacers money line win. I really don't want to mess with the spread because the Pacers, they're not playing great defense either. They've lost Miles Turner. You're looking at Sabonis starting now at the 5. But for Sacramento, who's going to score? I mean, the starting lineup, I'll give it to you here. DeLon Wright at point, Buddy Hield, Mo Harkless, Marvin Bagley, and Rashawn Holmes. I don't know where the points are going to come from other than maybe, a handful of Buddy Hield threes. I'm going to take the under, and I like the Pacers here. I think 239 is a little bit too tall, and I think they're trying to catch people on just, hey, Kings are bad. They're banged up. Pacers won't play defense either. man, O'Shea Brissett starting at the 4 for the Pacers. I just don't trust it. I feel like we could go into some really cold stretches here on the scoring from both sides. So I'll take the under.
Yeah, I think too. You've seen the Pacers do that throughout this year. Just them struggled to score points. They were supposed to be a good team starting this year, and they started the year hot and then kind of cooled off as the year progressed.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they were a fun team to watch, especially with De'Aaron Fox. He was one of my favorites in fantasy this year. Got him at great value, and he was I think he still is, even on the injury report for as long as he's been. I think he's still like 12th in the league in total points scored, or top 15 or something like that. Just goes to show you what type of year he was having before going down. Next up, we've got the Wizards and the Bucks, which I'm waiting to start here in front of me. I've got the Wizards coming in as road dogs, plus 3.5 on the spread, plus 138 on the money line, and an over-under of 242 points, which I don't love. You kind of talked up the lineup a little bit for the Wizards tonight and how it's really lacking depth and stability. I don't love the over here, and man, I got to go with the Bucks. I mean, for the value that we're getting, minus 158. I know they're playing in back-to-back games. I don't love that, but I like the Bucks on the money line, and I like the under 242. What do you got in this one?
Yeah, I'm all over the Bucks. I think they win this one with ease. I mean, we've seen the Wizards, specifically Russell Westbrook, just go crazy some of these last games, putting in triple doubles with ease.
Absolutely.
But I think the Bucks are just, with this banged up Wizards lineup, I think they can run away with this one pretty easily.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen. So give me the Bucks on the money line and the under 242 points. Next up, we've got the Spurs traveling to Utah, 7-point dogs on the spread, plus 220 on the money line, and we have an over under of 219.5, which sounds pretty appetizing to me, that 219.5. I think that we both like the Jazz here, despite missing Donnie Mitchell still. Is that right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we both like the money line pick for the Jazz, which I think you can parlay into something very easily and get great value. The minus 260 is not out of this world, so I like that. Certainly not the minus 1,300 that we're getting from, who was it, 76ers. That's nuts. 7-point spread. Do we like the Spurs on the cover?
Yeah, I guess I could see it. It's going to be within a 10-point game for sure. So 7's almost there. I'll take the Spurs to cover.
I like them to cover as well. 7-2-1 ATS in their last 10, and they've been scoring 4-1 in their last 5 to the over. The Jazz just put up numbers, consistently. So I like that 219.5. It's actually very similar to my take with the Knicks and the Nuggets. The Jazz just don't typically get numbers that low for their totals. They're typically much higher. The 225s, 226s, a lot of 230 pluses. So I think this is a great number for them. And the Spurs have been playing well recently, been hitting their overs. So I like the Jazz and the over 219.5. If you want to get cute with it, sprinkle the San Antonio Spurs at +7 into something else. But I think all those picks will be rock solid.
Definitely.
All right, next up, we've got the Knicks and the Nuggets. Man, Knicks, I really want to bet them, Steve. Plus 138 on the road, money line. Plus 3.5 on the spread. And over is now 215.5. I took the over earlier today at 214.5, which I think is an absolute home run. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I still like the over at 215. Honestly, I think there's going to be a lot of scoring in this one. I would really, if I had to pick my best bet in this, I think I'm going Knicks money line. A tough team to bet against, so is the Nuggets. I feel like I'm always on the wrong side of their games. The games I think they're going to win, they lose, and then the games I bet against them, they win. So I think that 138, the value's really there for the Knicks, who've been a very, very good team of late. So yeah, I'd be all over that as well.
Yeah, it's really tough not to. They're 9-1 ATS and straight up in their last 10. The Knicks have been nothing but on fire, nothing but profitable. But you're going up against the Nuggets, man. The Nuggets have been really good too. Despite missing all these guys, Jamal Murray, Monte Morris, Will Barton, who all have gone down. They're figuring it out though, and that's why I really love Jokic prop tonight over 25.5. I just want to stay away. I don't want to bet. I don't want to pick the game. I really, really want to pick the Knicks to win just because they're getting that plus option. But Denver, they've won 6 in a row at home. everything is there for this to be just a great matchup. So I love the over 214, 215 and a half, whatever it is. I will take the Knicks at +3, but I don't want to pick them. I don't want to pick them on the money line. I don't want to pick any team on the money line here. The Nuggets still 8-2 straight up in their last 10. Like I said, the Knicks 9-1 ATS and straight up. You know what's another great number for this game that I love? At -170, both teams to score over 99.5 points. You like that?
Yeah.
I mean,
it seems like an easy.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I was really digging into this one because there's just like, man, like, I want to pick the Knicks. We're getting +138. Like, this is great value. They've been on fire. I believe in Julius Randle. I'm talking about Knicks making playoff runs. Like I should be in on this, but I'm just too scared. Like, it's just a really great matchup. Two just really hot teams. I jump on that if you can, Steve. If it's available on like DraftKings for game props, -170 for both teams to hit 100 points at least.
Definitely, I'm looking now.
All right. Well, while you're doing that, we're going to jump into the fantasy waiver wire. But before we do, please, guys, destroy the like button, share the video, and follow us on youtube.com/take it to the Hizzy. Let's go. All right. First guy up on the waiver wire here, we've got RJ Hampton for the Orlando Magic. Getting it done with some big numbers here. His last 3 games, 16-7-10, 18-7-5, and 11-4-1. He's played over 30 minutes in his past 2 games. Free throw percentage is there, mixing in a little bit of defense with steals and blocks. Only 17% rostered. The Denver Nuggets got to be kicking themselves in the dick for trading this guy. He would be nothing but money for them right now with all their injuries at guard. Any objections here to some RJ Hampton?
No, I think he's really good. He's getting more of an opportunity ever since he got moved. I think he's a good talent that I think is only going to blossom more too as we progress.
Yeah, I absolutely love him right now. What I say, 17% rostered. Go and get him. I mean, this is championship week if you're still in it. So if you're looking for a little bit of everything at guard, I really like RJ. The only downside I think is they only give him a point guard designation. Well, that's kind of garbage.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. All right, who's the next guy up?
Next up, we have Diallo with the Pistons.
Right on.
As of late, he's really been putting in. Last game, he had 35 points, 7 rebounds. So you're seeing him. He's consistently getting double-digit points, and he's up there in rebounds game after game. He adds a little bit on the defensive end with some steals here and there and a few blocks. This was a guy I had earlier in the season when he was still on the Thunder, and he was doing really good. I thought when he went to the Pistons, he was going to be a lot better, see a lot more playing time, but they kind of eased him in, and they've really cut him loose in the past week, 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's the end of the year. They're completely out of it. So let's give these new guys some minutes, give them some experience, and just have fun, right? This is what happens. You get 35 points, 7 rebounds, 16-7. But some of these other games, even without the big scoring numbers, 10-10, 14-3, 4-11, it's not bad. And I think it's very serviceable right now in fantasy in championship week if you're looking for points and rebounds. It's especially at a guard position, right? You're typically looking at that from just a straight up forward. So, yeah, absolutely love it. Go get some Hamidou Diallo. Next up, we've got some forwards for the Cleveland Cavaliers. We're just going to tag team them. We're going to throw them in together. Pick your poison here, Steve. Isaac Okoro or Cedi Osman. Who do you trust more in championship week?
Championship week, I'm going to have to go Cedi Osman.
Okay.
He's just a little more consistent than Okoro. Okoro, last game, though, I mean, they really cut him loose, had 47 minutes, which you'd take that day,
any day.
Every game.
Twice on Wednesdays. Take it to the Hizzy. Let's go.
Exactly. And, I mean, you saw with a bigger role, 47 minutes, he was able to put in 32 points. This was a guy I kind of messed around with early in the season, pick him up streaming. He used to have a lot more defense kind of in his repertoire. That's where the Cavs were looking for him to be.
Right.
You've seen that kind of dry up a little bit lately, but he's getting it done a lot more on the offensive end.
Yeah, I would say his scoring is still more consistent than CD Osman, but Osman's just total production, especially like if you're in categories or points, like that's going to add up. So I'm with you there too. I'll take CD Osman over Isaac Okoro. Okoro 11% rostered and Osman 26%. But both are good ads right now in championship week. If you're hurting for players, if you got a bunch of ads each week, I think even both of them. If you don't have guys playing tonight or whatever it is, they're both good options. But me and Steve are both going Osman over Okoro if there's a choice between the two. Who's the next guy up?
Next up, we have DeLon Wright for the Kings.
Okay, love it.
He's kind of come on lately, and he gets points in just about everywhere. Gets all the categories. You get rebounds from him. You get assists, steals. Last game he had 4 steals, 4 blocks.
Awesome.
And he doesn't turn the ball.
4 and 4. Would you say 4 and 4?
4 and 4. Yep.
Wow, that's a line. So what's that full line from his last game?
His last game he had 13 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 steals, 4 blocks, and only 1 turnover.
Guys, it doesn't get any better than that. What's his percentage rostered?
So he has shot up lately. He's at 60% rostered now.
Okay, so there's the caveat, right? Like he may not be available, but it's probably also because people were just sniping him when Fox went down, right? So they've been adding him. But wow, that's crazy. 13, 10, 8, 4, and 4. Wow, that's just nuts. That's nuts. Go get some DeLon Wright if he's available. I mean, writing's on the wall. If you're not adding him, I don't know what you're doing in championship week if he's available. That's nuts. All right, next guy up we've got is Jalen McDaniels of the Charlotte Hornets, getting a little bit more playing time these past couple of games. Are you buying in that he's going to continue to have a role here? 10 and 12 his last game, 12 and 9 the game before that. Also threw in 3 steals his last game. But the volume of minutes is much lower than prior to these previous 2 games. Are we buying that this guy's worth it right now? 20% rostered?
I mean, he's a good streaming option because he will get you some of those tougher categories that normally don't have a bunch in them and steals, and he adds in a few blocks. You do have, if you're adding him for points and rebounds, you do have to be a little worried he'll put up a stinker from time to time. But if you're playing the matchups coming up, he has the Bulls. We already know, the vibe from them. They're kind of checked out for this year.
A little.
Orlando. I don't know. I mean, the Bulls are it's the Bulls. I had a lot of faith in them early on this year and not as much anymore.
We talked about them a lot last week. They're dead in the water, just like the Blackhawks, just dead in the water.
Yeah. And then Orlando, I mean, he could do some damage there. They do have some bigs who play solid defense in Bamba and even Wendell Carter from time to time. So yeah, I think if you're just looking for a stream, throw him on your team.
Yeah, I think he's solid. He also adds to 3-pointers made. When he gets the minutes. For a big guy, that's pretty good. He had 3 2 games ago. All right, last guy up here is Frank Jackson. Actually, this shirt belongs to Frank. 22% rostered for the Detroit Pistons. I mean, these last handful of games have been great. Points, 14, 19, 25, 20, 18. Assists, 4, 2, 3, 1, 1. Rebounds, 3, 2, 7, 3, 3. I mean, there's a lot to like here, in my opinion. The volume is there. The minutes are there. Minutes, 29, 35, 34, 27, 25. The guys carved out a nice little role for him here to end out the year with the Pistons. You buying some Frank Jackson this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's, like you said, he's getting the minutes. He adds a good amount of 3-pointers in. I would have loved to see this type of production from Killian Hayes instead. Just, I think he's a younger talent who's going to be very, very good if he figures out some of the scoring and things like that. But yeah, Frank Jackson definitely holds value right now.
Yeah, go scoop him up, guys. I think he's going to be a really good ad to close out this championship week. The production is there. The availability is there. He's getting the minutes. I think there's a lot to like. So go grab some Frank Jackson in Detroit. All right, let's move on to our burning playoff questions in the NBA here. We're going to start with the Eastern Conference. But before we do, you know the drill. Smash the like button, share the video, and follow us on youtube.com/take it to the Hizzy. Let's go. All right, first up, we're going to cover the play-in games, how they're looking right now and how they could unfold as we break into the playoffs here. In the East, in the 9 and 10 game, we're looking at the Pacers and the Wizards. Right now, the Pacers have a 1-game lead with one less game played over the Wizards. It's looking like those two are going to be playing each other. Charlotte and Boston are in the 7-8 spot, and they're a couple of games ahead of both of them. So we'll start with the Wizards and Indianapolis. Who comes out of that game? I think we're both leaning the same way here.
Yeah, I'm all over the Wizards. I think they're a good team. I don't know how deep they'll end up making it in all of the playoffs, but I like them there. Russell Westbrook has been on an absolute tear recently. So yeah, I'm leaning them. I think
absolutely. And with that Bradley Beal there still, I mean, obviously they're going to be scoring a lot. And in one game over Indiana, even in Indiana, I can't trust them. I mean, they're hurt. I mean, they're banged up. We talked about it already earlier. You know, missing Miles Turner. You know, they're lacking that little bit of extra depth. I think Malcolm Brogdon is still hurt. He's been in and out of the lineup. If Brogdon was in 100%, I might be thinking a little bit differently about this one. I would feel like it'd be a little bit closer, but I really want to get in on some props on the Wizards making it to the 8 seed here, because the way it breaks out and the 7 and 8, we'll just segue right into that. You got Boston and Charlotte, right? Do you have any love for Charlotte here? Maybe getting LaMelo Ball back. Is it going to be enough to go over the top of the Celtics?
It definitely helps getting LaMelo back. He's already seen him make some highlight plays, passing and distributing. But I think the Celtics are just too good. I'm kind of shocked that they're at this spot. If they wouldn't have hit those midseason lows, they obviously wouldn't be here. They'd be just a little bit higher. I just got to go with the Celtics here. They're too good, too big a star power, and that's what I think wins it in the playoffs.
All right, so we both agree then. So then from that, if the Celtics were to win, they would move on to the 7 seed and take on the 2 seed, which will probably be the Nets. We'll get to that in a minute. But first, the loser of the 7 and 8, which would be Charlotte, they would have to take on the winner of the 9 and 10, which we're saying is going to be the Wizards. So the Wizards and Charlotte, do we still believe in the Wizards?
I think I do. I mean,
right?
Once again, I think it's the star power that wins that. It's somewhat of that clutch gene, and I think Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, I'm taking those over, say, LaMelo and Terry Rozier, or LaMelo and Gordon Hayward. You know, I'm leaning all the way. I still think the Wizards coast through that.
I agree. I feel the same way, and they're getting a lot from some of these other guys. You know, even like Alex Len. You know, we kind of make some jokes, but they've been getting it done. What were they, 8-2 straight up in their last 10, 8-2 ATS. So they've been rolling. And Charlotte and these other guys, they're just a little bit underwhelming right now. And if we're talking about like fourth quarter scoring, it's going to be there for the Wizards. So I do believe that the Wizards are going to be the 8 seed, and they're going to move on to the number 1. So we've got it kind of broken down there. We've got the East kind of lined up. Let's say it ends right now and you're looking at the Wizards and the 76ers. Can the Wizards really push the 76ers to even 5 games?
I don't know. That'll be tough. I think they probably just fall a little bit short there. Another big person that they need to keep healthy would be Rui Hachimura. I think he's
out tonight, actually.
Yeah, he's been in and out. He just came back from injury, and now you're seeing him pop up again. It might have been just for illness tonight or something, but I do think you have to with the Sixers. They're just too good. Embiid's, looks back to the guy we had in the MVP race. So yeah, I don't know if they take it too far.
Yeah, I agree. I'm putting it at 5 games max. Like I said, 76ers are just built differently. They're a complete ball club right now. The next matchup would be the Celtics and Brooklyn. Now that would shake up to be something nice, because I would expect Boston to be fully healthy. I don't expect Kemba to be sitting games in the playoffs, right? That's kind of been the whole point of resting him on these back-to-backs and giving him plenty of rest, right? I mean, I feel like that could go to 7 games, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I really do. What do you think? What's the word on James Harden being back?
Nothing. I can't find anything. It's just out indefinitely. He had a setback with his hamstring. He's just going to be reevaluated week by week. So, what we have this week to go. We'll have another episode next Wednesday, and then next Sunday, I believe, will be the last game in the NBA. So, of the regular season. We got 2 weeks. That's pretty much it. Like 17 days until the playoffs start, I believe. That's all he's got. We got to start really considering like how much are we going to trust these really heavyweights on the at least on the favorites by the sports books, right? Like the Nets and the Lakers, very big favorites to make runs out of their conferences and win the championship. Like we really need to start making haste to these other teams here because we're going to start to lose the value on them. And I'll ask you: are you going to trust the Nets without James Harden? We just saw Kyrie and KD take on the Bucks in back-to-back games, and it wasn't enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still kind of up in the air. This whole year I've been big on the Nets, but I do think that they might run into some trouble without Harden. That's a tough one. It also comes down. I think some of it has to deal with coaching. Will Steve Nash be able to? We saw him yesterday. Came out and admitted he missed taking a big time timeout in the game that they had yesterday. Mm-hmm. And so there is some of that comes into play, and the Celtics are well coached. That should be a hell of a matchup, though.
I'm saying 7 games, man. It's going to come down to it. Yeah. Boston, they haven't been reliable, but just think about it from a matchup standpoint. If Boston is healthy, you're looking at Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Evan Fournier in that starting lineup probably, and take your pick of Robert. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it would be Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and then probably one of the bigs like Robert Williams or Tristan Thompson. You're going to have Evan Fournier coming off the bench. We've been talking up Pritchard. I feel like they're going to be a deeper team at that point. And I feel like we might need to get them into the conversation here to move on beyond the Nets if we don't start hearing something about James Harden. So I would feel pretty good about putting a little prop on that, to start of the playoffs if James Harden isn't around. We got kind of caught up on that one. Let's move on to the next one. You're looking at potentially 4 and 5, looking at the Knicks and the Hawks. I'm taking the Knicks all day here. Do you like the Knicks to make a run, maybe? At least to the finals?
They could. I don't know if I can put them in the finals. It's tough just because there's some heavy hitters at the top there. And I think that they easily beat the Hawks in a 7-game series. I don't see how the Hawks could really last with them.
Right.
I think they would play every team hard, kind of reminiscent of the Tom Thibodeau Bulls teams that we saw back in the day, where they play every team tough and they just fall short because they don't have that extra piece to beat some of these stars.
No, I agree with you. I think the Knicks, they just look like they're playoff ready. They look like an NBA playoff team right now.
Yes.
And we've talked in previous weeks about how that, regular season defense, if it's really that good, it should translate very well to the playoffs because that's when everybody's going to be playing D. I really like the Knicks. Honestly, when we just got done talking about the Celtics, if the Celtics could come out of the first round over the 2 seed, that would push the Knicks to probably the 3 or 6 seed or something like that. And then the next round, they could avoid potentially taking on the 76ers if the Nets were to throw out a stinker. So if that were to happen, I think there's really good odds that the Knicks could make the finals. I was looking at it today. They're plus 3,500 to come out of the East to make it to the NBA finals. I was this close to just throwing $10 on it. I'm still thinking about it right now. Hell, I'm talking about it. They just look really, really good. They also have a ton of depth. I believe that they are this year's version of 2020's Miami Heat. They just look great. And the reason why the Heat made that run, it was their defense, right? I feel like the Knicks might be playing a little spoiler this year. All right, let's move on. The next one we're looking at is the 6 and the 3 seed. So Milwaukee and Miami. I don't even know if I'm going to watch this one. I'm going the Bucks all day. Can Miami push it to 7 games, 6 games even?
Outside chance on 6, no chance at 7. It's crazy though. That might be my least favorite of all the matchups that we discussed on here. I think both teams are just kind of boring, not really to my liking.
Mhm.
Of play good teams, but I just think boring. I think the Bucks run away with that pretty easily, though.
All right. Well, I'll throw this caveat in there as well because I agree with you. I think they could actually sweep them in 4. 5 games is the max I'd put on that series. Let's say Milwaukee catches Brooklyn in the standings because they're not that far off. They have 1 more loss and 2 less wins. They can catch them. Let's say they catch them and Brooklyn takes on Miami in the first round. Does Miami stand a chance then?
Maybe not to get swept, but I still think it's an outside chance at 6 games. You've seen some of these pickups that the Nets have had with Blake Griffin has actually turned out to be pretty good. He's putting in. Yeah, I mean, you're seeing him have the games of like 17 points, where with the Pistons, he looked washed and didn't even have
He wasn't trying to score 17 points on the Pistons, though. He wasn't even trying to fucking jump.
Yeah, that is true. But
he put rocks in his shoes. Like,
so you have Jimmy Butler guard, say
KD.
Durant. And then, I mean, Oladipo, is he back? I don't know. I haven't seen any update on that front.
I'll tell you here in about 2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to really – it's going to be tough for certain teams to match up with them. And unless Bam has a huge series for them, I really just don't see how they can completely stop that team.
Yeah, I think that would be a big gift for the Nets for them to actually fall into that 3 spot. It would definitely get them into the second round for more certain than the first up against a team potentially like the Celtics. So, and if the Celtics somehow stunk it up and they lost to Charlotte, they'd be fine up against the Nets. Or the Nets would be fine up against Charlotte. Like that'd be a home run for them. If anything, those guys are wearing like old Hornets jerseys in the locker room and chilling on them, trying to make sure that they get in because that would be a godsend. Either getting Miami or Charlotte, that would be perfect for them. And then the 2 and 7 would be Brooklyn and Boston. Yeah, we already covered that. Okay, got it. All right, so let's move over to the other conference unless we have anything else. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Just really quick, because the Bucks did put one in the eye of the Nets these past couple of games. The first game was a lot closer. After seeing any of that, shutting down KD. Well, not shutting down KD. I mean, KD did beautiful KD things. I think he scored like 34 and 42. Yeah, just absolutely nuts, right? But the game he scored the game he scored more and Irving did less. That was the game that was more competitive. They only lost by 3. But, I mean, realistically, do we need to take the Bucks more seriously at this point?
Yeah. I mean, it's tough not to with Giannis. He's a tremendous talent. Yeah, I mean, they will be that team that probably is a thorn in the side, probably take teams deep, but it's the Bucks. We've seen it year after year after year that they are either the number 1 seed or a really high seed, and they can't get over that final hurdle.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we need to start putting a little bit more respect on them. I mean, I agree with you. They've been boring. Speaking of which, they're losing by 6 right now to the Wizards. Make that 8. My bad. Make that 8. Anthony Gill was not feeling that comment I just made. He was like, "No, buddy, floater, got you." Yeah, I feel like we need to start taking them a little bit more seriously. Tonight for this game, and we did talk earlier about the potential about the back-to-back stinker being available, and they just had those really tight matchups with the Nets. But I feel like we need to start leaning into them a little bit more, especially with the value the books are still giving them right now. To come out of the East, they're at plus 425. That's great value for this team. They're also pretty deep. They're pretty deep, and that's going to adjust once we get one little tidbit about James Harden not being able to return, or definitely going to miss the first round, can absolutely make a second round comeback, third round comeback, home run. I feel like those numbers are going to adjust big time. So if you guys are looking to lay a few shekels on, some good odds for coming out of the East, I like the Bucks at plus 425, and you're getting the same rate at the 76ers plus 425 as well. Did you have any questions or concerns coming out of the East before we move on to the West?
No, I think we're good.
All right. So same thing. Let's jump over to the West. Looking at the 9 and 10 seed, you're looking at a much better matchup, certainly more entertaining. Right now, we're looking at Memphis and the Golden State Warriors. Both teams are at 500. Golden State 33-33. Memphis 32-32. Who do you like here?
I don't know. That's a really, really tough matchup. I like the Grizzlies more. Like I've been a fan of them all year, really. But there's something about the Warriors, Steph Curry. He just takes it into overdrive, and I'd have a tough time betting against them in a full 7-game series. Now, I fully believe that the Memphis could push it to 6-7 games.
Oh, absolutely. I would have Memphis in 6 in this one. They would be or actually, no, it's not 6. What are we talking about? It's a one game.
Yeah.
It's one game. It's one game, and I'm taking Memphis. I'm taking Memphis.
That definitely changes it.
Yeah, I'm taking Memphis on the one game. Still deeper, still a better roster in my opinion, and I feel like their defense will be able to shore up a Steph Curry. But it is one game. Steph could be Steph, could drop 50, but I'm going Memphis. Overall, I know both teams are 500 on the year. I just trust them more this season, whether it's been on the spread, just picking them outright to win. I'm going to go Memphis on this one. Golden State, they'll have plenty of opportunity. It's a coin flip. We're gonna have a lot of fun betting on that one. Looking really forward to that start of that series or whatever one game. Next up, we're looking at potentially. Oh my gosh, Steve, I just completely did that wrong. My bad, man. We got to start over. It's Memphis and San Antonio as the 9 and 10. I'm sorry, guys. So that one, we'll keep it this quick. I think we're both going to take Memphis. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be a great game, though.
Absolutely. Then the Portland and Golden State is the 7 and 8. We'll try to keep it quick. Let's say it is Portland, who are only a game behind the Lakers. Portland and Golden State, who do you take in one game?
Damn. Dame versus Steph. I maybe lean Trailblazers.
I still got to go Trailblazers here. Now, next caveat, because the Lakers are only one game out of this position. If the Lakers fall 7 and 8, are you taking Lakers or Golden State? I think we're both going the same way. Lakers. All right. Another caveat. Let's say the Lakers, but they don't have LeBron. It's the Lakers, but they don't have LeBron yet. Do you still take Golden State, or do you still take the Lakers, or do you go Golden State?
Way closer game. I still probably just lean the Lakers just by a little bit.
Yeah, I do too, but it's really close. So let's move on. Sorry about that, viewers. That was a big mix up there. Obviously, with these the play-ins, it's weird, right? It's funky. So let's just say, looking back at the bracket, let's just say for 7 and 8, Portland moves on. For 9 and 10, we're gonna have Memphis move on. So now you have from 7 and 8, Golden State taking on the winner of 9 and 8, which would be Memphis. So now we have Memphis and Golden State. Who do you take in the next play-in game? Or I'm sorry, San Antonio. Jesus. No, it's Memphis. This damn bracket's confusing the hell out of me.
Those playing games throw a curveball in there.
All right. So it would be Golden State versus the winner of that one, which would be the winner of that one. So we're right. It would be Memphis versus Golden State. Who do you take?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think I'm going to lean the Warriors. I think you'll see just one of those playoff performances from Steph where he kicks it in overdrive and goes for it. But it'll be one of the better matchups, I think, of the playoffs.
All right. I need a cold drink after that one. All right. So we're going to take Golden State coming in. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll take Golden State coming in. They will be our 8 seed, and the Portland Trailblazers will be our 7 seed. So 1 versus the 8. It ends right now. We're looking at Phoenix and Golden State. We're both going Phoenix still, pretty handedly.
Yeah. I'd have trouble going to anyone.
Okay, got it. All right. And then let's go 2 to 7. We're looking at Portland and Utah. Portland and Utah in the first round. Let's say Donnie Mitchell is there 100%. How many games? Because that's not a sweep.
No. It could very well be 5. I think that Trailblazers offense can be so stale at times.
Mm-hmm.
But you also sometimes that what Dame Lillard has been able to do in previous playoffs kind of creeps into your mind, and they'd be tough. So no chance at 7, maybe 6, but I'm going 5.
If Donnie Mitchell is healthy, I will take the Jazz in 5. If he's not, I might take the Trailblazers in 7.
Yeah,
they took the Lakers last year to 7, and I know the 7th game was a big blowout, but still, like that was a great series. If Donnie Mitchell isn't there, and they're saying like, oh, he'll miss the first round, definitely be back for the next. I'm going to go Trailblazers on an upset in 7. I think they can do it. Just the overall scoring of Lillard, McCollum, Anthony. He can score. He can get hot. Cantor's had a great year. They added Gary Trent, right, in a trade from Toronto. I feel like they got it.
No. They sent
other
Gary
way around.
Trent.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
They got Norman Powell, right?
Norman Powell, sorry. Pretty similar, but Norman Powell was doing big things for Toronto before coming over. So I love that depth there. If Donnie Mitchell's out, I'll take them in 7. Let's say the Lakers do hold up at the 6th seed. They would be looking at the Clippers in the first round. I'll give you LeBron back. Do they make it out of the first round with LeBron without home court advantage up against the Clippers?
It depends. It really depends on how. Like, if we had to put a percentage on how healthy LeBron is, if 100%, I am gonna go with the Lakers. I mean, it'll be exciting just to see Kawhi in a back-to-back. I feel like we barely ever see him play. Major games. We really don't know what the Clippers are 100%. But if there's any weakness to LeBron, if he's 80%, 75%, I probably lean the Clippers, but that would be a hell of a early matchup.
Oh, yeah. I'm still going to take the Clippers with LeBron there. I mean, he's going to be saying all the right things, right? Oh, playoff mode activated, 100%, whatever. I'm here. Let's do
all
it.
The corners that he says.
Yeah, exactly. If he's not there, I mean, it's a home run pick for the Clippers to win that first round. But even if he's there, I'm still going the Clippers. Give me 6, 7 games, whatever it is. I'll take the Clip Show in that one. And then the last first round, we're looking at Denver and Dallas. Really even matchup right now, but I still lean Denver. They've just been showing me a lot. Does Dallas have the depth to go over the top of Denver? Because that's the biggest advantage they're going to have if the playoffs ended right now.
No, I just think that they've been one of the more disappointing teams. I think people were kind of thinking they could really push for one of the higher spots, obviously behind, say, the Clippers and the Lakers. But you saw the Jazz instead make that leap, and they're one of the best teams in the West. And the Nuggets haven't really skipped a beat since Jamal Murray has went down. Michael Porter has been shooting lights out from 3 since then, and maybe he kind of fills that role of what Jamal Murray was.
Yeah, I think he can. Obviously, Aaron Gordon there as well. They added him in from a trade, so they have the pieces. It's just they don't really have depth. Like, I did leave Facundo Campazzo off the fantasy waiver tonight. I didn't want to make it the Campazzo show again. But he's actually been putting up some numbers. Points, assists, sprinkling in some rebounds. So I don't know if we get elite Campazzo. I don't know. Might give him a little bit more upside, but I feel like that's a 7-game series. But I'm still going to take Denver. They'll have the home court most likely, and they have the MVP in Jokic. So I'm gonna go that route. Not getting too far into the rest of the rounds here, but just going over some of the other themes in the conference. Who do you like more right now, the Suns or the Jazz? I mean, the Jazz, they've been great. We were just talking them up, but let's say they don't have Donnie Mitchell. I mean, you got to like the Suns to make a run to the finals over the Jazz, right?
Yeah, I think you have to. Devin Booker is just one of those guys who I think can take over a game and really put it in. And if you're without Donovan Mitchell, that's a major piece to your team. I don't know. Jordan Clarkson does a great job off the bench and even filling in, in this absence that we have of Mitchell. But is he enough to really go toe-to-toe with Chris Paul and Devin Booker? I just don't think so.
No, and honestly, I still like the Suns more, even with Mitchell fully 100% healthy. They're both 47 and 18. I just like them a lot more with that guard play they have from Paul and Booker. I think it's going to be a great combination, and it really just forces teams to start things down low, which they're pretty good at. They got Bridges down there, DeAndre Ayton. I like me some Dario Saric, who can play a couple different positions. So I like the Suns still. They're still my pick to come out of the West. Let me see what value we're getting right now on them.
I think they're deep also. I mean, Jay Crowder's been out, and you've seen guys just plug in, and they haven't really skipped a beat.
Plus 550 right now to make it out of the West. Yeah. Plus
really
550.
Like
they're the one seed. They're the one seed. I mean, what the hell?
And who is it? It's the Lakers are favorited, and they're the 7 seed or about?
We just got done saying they could get bounced in the first round. Yeah. I feel like it's just like sucker money here. They have pretty much the same odds as the Clippers. The Clippers are plus 275 and the Lakers are plus 210. Like, how? One's a 6 seed, one's a 3 seed.
Chris Paul's first final appearance too, if they were able to make it. That'd be exciting.
I would love it. I would absolutely love it. That'd be great. Let's see here. Any other questions out of the conference? What's the farthest Denver can go, in your opinion? Just a second round?
Yeah, honestly, I think maybe if they had Jamal Murray, it'd be a little different story if he turned it on like he did last year in the playoffs. But without him, Jokic is a stud though. That I guess throws a loop for it. But yeah, I just don't see him making too deep of a run.
Yeah, to me, they're going to wind up losing in the second round. They've been a favorite of mine all year, but they just don't have that depth. And I feel like these other teams, it's going to get really the iron's going to get really sharp here after the first round. Obviously everybody's going to be tuned up coming into the playoffs, but then you get that first round of good playoff basketball, defense, and all that. I don't think they're going to be able to last beyond that. Yeah. All right, let's move on to our live betting outro, and we are going to kick it after that. But before we do, the drills. Smash the like button, share the video, and follow us on youtube.com/take it to the Hizzy. Let's go. All right, first one up here, Steve. We've got the Celtics over the Magic. Wow, right now 81-64, 18.5 point spread. Any love for the Magic there?
No, I think that the Celtics just still coast. Who's going to take over the game for the Magic? I think I still like the Celtics there. I wouldn't really touch it, though. I mean, hopefully he grabbed it early. But yeah, kind of stay away.
Come on, Magic. What are you doing? Are the Magic going to score 100 points in this game? They're at 66 right now. There's 4 minutes left in the game. Or 4 in the third, I'm sorry.
Actually, probably not. I don't
probably not. All right, so then prefacing that, we're looking at 223 as the total. Take the under?
Yeah. I think I took the under from the jump, and I for this reason, the Magic just not doing their part.
Yeah, absolutely right. I figured they'd be playing loose, but man, play some offense too. Jeez.
Dwayne Bacon's going off, though. 20 points. I just love that name.
Missed on the Bacon prop. That's terrible. All right, next up, we've got a 10-point lead for the Trailblazers, but the spread is at 13.5 live. You want to grab the Cavs at 13.5?
Let's see.
Halftime.
I think it was 12 when we started, and this is another one. I probably just stay away. Trailblazers might just be beating them bad enough that you don't see too much Lillard. But I also noticed McCollum's only got 2 points at halftime. Does he kick it on and move, make this lead even larger?
I don't know. That's really odd. Only 2 points at half. They got 67 points. Over unders at 234.5. You like the total? Probably going to stay away.
Yeah.
Or stay to the under.
I don't know. It's tough because I'm looking at the scoring and Trailblazers put up 38 points in the second, so maybe they come out and still do it. I'll go over. Why not?
All right. Next up, we've got the Memphis Grizzlies leading 33-29. Nice. Over under is at 241.5, and we're starting the second quarter. Right now the spread is at 5.5 points, which I don't love for the Grizzlies. That's a bigger spread than we had to start the game, and it's only a 4-point lead. So right now I'd be saying Minnesota would cover that 5.5. What do you think about the spread and the total?
I think I'm gonna go over on it. Timberwolves are doing what they've been doing for the past week. I think I still like the Grizzlies though to cover that amount.
Dang, even the 5.5. I mean, they're the better team. I just took a money line. I didn't want to touch it, but I'm going to say Minnesota covers the 5.5. It'll be closer to like that 3 or 4. All right, next up we've got 76ers over the Rockets, 17.5 point spread, but only an 8-point lead. Yeah, do you like the Rockets to cover 18.5 and the total is at 235.5?
No, I'll take the over.
Can't trust it.
I think I'm going to take the over because in the first quarter, the Sixers put up 39, Rockets put up 30. So, I mean, they're scoring points, but I'm not laying that many points. No chance.
I can't trust the Rockets, but it's very appealing when they're only down by now 7, and now the spread is at 16.5. They're really trying to catch you. I am still going to take the under just because I feel like the Rockets will die off a little bit. The scoring is going to run cold, and obviously they're expecting the 76ers to really run away with it. So I'll take the under there. Next up, we've got the Suns. Ouch, my best bet. Not looking great. They're down by 7. We're still early, we're now by 3. It's still early, 9.5 left in the second. Over under has moved up to 253.5. I'm going to stay away. I don't want to play with that. But we got a 2.5 plus spread for the Suns. I'm all over that. Plus 2.5 to the Suns right now. Let's grab it.
I still like it. The Hawks came out and put up 42 points in the first, but gave up 38. I think this is something where out of halftime is where the Hawks come and choke it away. So you're getting plus points right now for the Suns, all over it.
Yeah, I'm taking that right now. I'm trying to bet it, and literally my monitor won't scroll over to the submit button. It's driving me nuts.
Grab that one too.
Yeah, plus 2.5. That's great. Let's take it to the Hizzy, man. That's going to hit. Like I said, I just got him as an outright win. So, heck, plus 2.5. I'll take a couple points. Something crazy happens, right? All right, so next up, we've got the Kings and the Pacers. Pacers are, only winning by 1. Right now, they're giving the Kings plus 6.5, only down 1. We have 10 minutes left in the second quarter. The score is 33-32. What do you think? Get the Kings to cover here?
Let me see who's putting in the points. Bagley. I will say Bagley, since returning from injury, he's had a bunch of good games.
Okay.
So I don't know if I could take him to cover though. I'm looking at the rest of their team who's just not really doing much. Not even Holmes, no one like that. I'm going to take the Pacers. They haven't got much scoring going yet. Maybe they kick it on here in the second half.
I don't know. You've sold me with Bagley. All the hype here. I'll take the Kings at plus 6.5. I'll go Oppo. I'll go a different direction here. What do you think about the total at 234.5?
234.5. That's too high. I'm gonna go under.
Yeah, I like that as well. All right. Next up, we've got the Wizards and the Bucks. Last live one. Wow, Wizards now up 42-31. My score says 40, so they're about to score. Minus 2.5 go to the Wizards, plus 2.5 to the Bucks. Over under is at 248.5. I like the under there still.
Yeah, I agree with that. I need Giannis. Come on, man. 2 points.
What's he doing right now?
1 assist, no rebounds. That is brutal against this team.
That is brutal. What's Trae Young doing? Because they're leading in that game.
He had 6 and 6 last I checked.
Not bad. Yeah, the Hawks are getting it done, 52-44 now. That's going to stink if I miss that one. I really was heavy on the Suns tonight, but I still believe in them. I still believe. And, of course, they just cranked them up to 4.5 points. Yeah, it's all good. I still like the plus 2.5. So, all right, cool. Where we are going to jump out of it here, guys. Steve, do you have anything to close down the show with?
No, I'm all good. I think we're going to get right into the best part of the entire season in these next couple of weeks. So stay tuned and come back and hang out with us.
Yep, we'll be back next Wednesday, and yeah, definitely looking forward to some playoff basketball. We're gonna have to work on some Hizzy props for the playoffs.
Yes, definitely.
Zion's all but locked it up, Blake. I'm sorry, we missed Blake tonight. He had to work some longer hours than usual. But Blake,
I forgot about that.
Funny mustache is coming, buddy. Zion Williamson, 6th in the league in total points scored. I don't think he's fallen out of the top 10. Blake's going to need a miracle here. So we're going to have to start getting a little creative over here at Hizzy Ball. Start thinking about some funny mustaches for Blake. I'm not going to go with the Hitler stash. I feel like it's too topical. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a little too topical with Nazis running around in the streets of America. I was thinking about maybe the tickler. Maybe just making them run like a really heavy tickler. What do you think?
Yeah, I like that.
Maybe with some handlebars.
Yes, I can't wait to see this. This is going to be great. I also got to say, awesome. When I joined the show this earlier today, your hair is coming in pretty nice.
It's
finally got a little bit of length coming back.
If I wanted to, I could put some product in it, but I'm going to wait.
There we go.
I'm going to wait. It's going to be back though. It'll be back for football. DJ Shark, I'm coming for you, buddy. You owe me. You owe me a whole head of hair. A whole head of hair. All right. Well, let's get out of here. Take care. Be well, everybody. Be good, and if you can't be good at it. Later.
Take care.